Hi boys and girls, it is Miss Sosha, and this week we are learning about Andy Warhol and his pop art. So pop art stands for popular art. So Andy Warhol took pieces of popular culture and things we saw every day, comic books, pictures of celebrities, products we could find in our pantries and on the store shelves, and he turned them into art. And at the time, a lot of people were questioning, is this art or is it just copying things like a magazine ad? So he kind of started a debate with that and a discussion about whether or not these things are art. So what we're going to do today is we're going to kind of do our own experiment and our own art project to see how we feel and figure out if we think it's art or not. Would you consider this a work of art? I don't know, maybe we can make it art. So what we're going to do today is we're going to start by drawing our own version of that. So take something from the pantry, make sure you ask your parents' permission first. Another great option is to look in the recycling bin, again, if it's not too dirty or if it's clean and dry, and find a box that you can kind of tape shut if it's used. This one still has the macaroni and cheese in it. So I picked a can of soup and a box because they're good shapes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a plain white piece of copy paper. I've got markers and pencils and a Sharpie for tracing. You can use whatever you have, paint, crayons, colored pencils or markers, any of that's fine. So what we're going to do first is we are going to take our plain white copy paper and we are going to fold it into quarters. So you're going to fold it in half one time this way. Try and get your edges lined up nice and straight. You can get some help if you need to. And then I like to unfold and refold. I feel like it just makes it line up better. And sometimes this fold's a little tricky because it's longer, so you might want to put your hand in the middle or again, get some help. All right. And then I like to trace over that. And I'm going to trace with a marker so you guys can really see it. Now, when Andy Warhol did this, he printed his pictures. He did something called screen print. And that's kind of like stamping over and over and over. So he didn't have to worry about drawing something 4 times. We have to draw it 4 times. So you want to pick the same thing to draw it 4 times, okay? So these are basic 3-dimensional shapes, just like you learn about in 2nd and 3rd grade math. So we have a rectangular prism and a cylinder, basically. So when you draw a cylinder, the sides are straight, just like a rectangle, but the top and bottom are slightly curved so that you can see that cylinder shape. And when you draw the top, even though it looks like a circle, when you draw it, it's going to appear to be an oval, okay? So when I draw this one, I'm going to start by drawing. I like to start with the top. Some people start with the sides. I don't know why. It's just how I go. Okay. I'm going to do one at a time because I feel like that helps me draw better the same instead of getting all the details in the first one and then trying to copy it again. I feel like if I do each step 4 times, it helps. So remember to draw light until you get it right. And I like to move my paper as I go. I think it helps my hand when I can move my paper more than my hand. And this can doesn't go down as far as this can. No worries there if they're slightly different. That's okay. You don't have to try and make them exactly the same. You don't have a screen print machine. You're not printing these. You're not a computer. You don't have to be perfect. Computers and printers are perfect. People are not. You're not expected to be. So then there's the bottom. That's rounded. Okay, and over here I have a little mistake, but I'm not going to erase that yet because when I trace I might not even notice it. And certainly when I color, I probably won't notice it. So I'm not worried about that at all. All right. Now this can has a little pull tab. If you want to draw the pull tab, if you have it, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I'm going to draw just kind of like a little teardrop shape with another little oval. And sometimes the less details you add, the better, because sometimes when we add too many details, we get stressed out over it and then we can see our mistakes easier. Sometimes when we don't add as many details, we can't see as many mistakes. We don't even notice. So I'm going to do like the rim, which is this part up here. So I did another line here and another line in the back. There's also a great video in the document that says directions start here. There's one down at the bottom that tells you all about drawing a soup can. And that video has some really great directions in there too. So if any of this is a struggle for you, sometimes it helps to learn from different people. So maybe try that set of directions. Okay, so now this one has the red label up top, the blue banner, and then the type of soup, and then the bowl. So I'm going to kind of make that a little simpler. Oh, I'm going to do the bottom of the can too. And take as much time as you need to do this. Okay, no pressure. So I'm going to do kind of like this curved shape for the bowl. It's kind of just curved. Okay, so almost like a sun, like you might draw a sun on a piece of paper. And then I'm going to do like this swoopy banner shape. This is the same type of soup that Andy Warhol drew, Campbell's. It's been around a very long time. His artwork is about 50 years old. But the labels have changed a little bit. Let's do that little blue banner. And you don't have to do all the words. Again, the words don't have to be perfect. Words are kind of hard. And that's okay for this project. So maybe I'll just do Campbell's. I don't have to worry about condensed soup. I might not even do all the details there. So I might just write Campbell's in cursive. Cursive is that type of writing where all the letters are connected. Okay, and that's what this is. So maybe I'll just do that on each one. And then we'll call our drawing portion finished. Okay, so you don't really need to do a background for this. You can certainly color the background when we start coloring, but you don't need to draw a background. Okay, so they're pretty close to being the same. Not totally, but they're pretty close. So now I'm going to trace. And again, if you don't have a Sharpie marker, you don't have to use a Sharpie marker. You can use a crayon. You can use a marker that's just a regular marker. Sharpies I enjoy a lot because they don't run. They don't bleed or spread. And you guys know how much I really love Sharpies in 3rd grade at this point. We use them a lot. But again, if you don't have one, a crayon will work. Colored pencil or other type of marker. All right, now I should probably have a skinny Sharpie because I'm going to lose some details here. Okay, but if you don't have one available, again, that's okay. So I'm just going to trace that one, and then I have markers here to color. And I like markers because it gives you a really nice solid layer of color, just like screen printing. Crayons, I would just suggest pushing down really hard. So you want 4 different styles of colors. So maybe pick light colors and dark colors, primary and secondary. So if I pick primary, remember that's our first 3 colors that we start with when we're mixing. So maybe I'll just use primary colors. So I'll keep the red ribbon red, okay? And then I'm not going to worry about silver. Maybe I'll do red down here. This is mushroom soup, not tomato soup, but I'm going to draw red. Okay, maybe I'll do yellow for the background here. And you can do one that looks realistic. Maybe you want to do one that looks just like the can. You could do shading, you could do as realistic as you want. Or you could do one that just looks silly, looks really out there, and you've used these different colors and it looks really adventurous and different. You could do that too. Okay, so you want it to kind of almost look like a cartoon. All right, and then like I said, you could do the background if you wanted. So maybe this one I'll do that way. Maybe another one I'll pick. Ooh, I could do cool colors. Okay, so you don't have to use a specific color family, but since we learned about them, that's a great way to start. You could just kind of pick your 3 favorite, or, you know, it doesn't have to be 3, it can be 7. But that's just a way to start. Okay, and like I said, you can do the background. Now, if you're going to do a rectangular prism or a box, it's a lot of straight lines, but the hardest part is getting it to look like a box and doing this top part. So I'm going to draw that for you real quick. This time I like to start with the sides, not the top. So I'm going to start like I'm doing a rectangle. This is the front of my box here. Okay, so I just drew this line and this line. Now my box is pretty skinny, so this back side is going to be pretty close to the front side. Okay, so I'm going to draw it right here, pretty close. But I'm not going to see the bottom, I'm not going to see the back, I'm not going to see this other side. I'm really just drawing kind of like this, two sides and then the top. So this is what you do. You're going to make kind of like a diamond or a parallelogram. Okay, going to draw straight across the bottom. You don't need a ruler for this, but if it makes you more comfortable, you can certainly use one. But again, don't worry about being perfect. All right, so now what you're going to do is you're going to do a diagonal line up. And as far as you do that one up, you want to do the same way. So you want them to be parallel or pointing in about the same direction. This part down here I don't need. And then I want to make this one go up a little more. You also want this back corner to be parallel the same way. Okay? And then I'm going to draw a line across. So this is the top of my box. So this is how you would do a cube or a rectangular prism to make it look three-dimensional. Okay? And then same thing. I could do the label here. So I might do this bigger oval, smaller oval. I've got a spoon shape here I can kind of play with. Think about your basic shapes again, so don't be scared of the spoon here. Maybe draw this like a rectangle and this like a oval and then make it pointy. Don't worry too much about all the banners that you've got here. Don't worry about the words too much. Maybe just do like a big curved bowl shape. Okay, and if you want to play around with all those noodles, if you've got that there, you can. But I really wouldn't worry too much about the stuff on the side either. Maybe just like the oval, and again the spoons on the side. On the top I'm just going to do the oval. Okay, so those are some ways that you can draw things that are three-dimensional to make your pop art pantry item, your soup or your mac and cheese. We've eaten lots of mac and cheese for lunch these days. Don't forget to share whatever you make in our third grade Flipgrid topic, and then you can respond to other people. So take a look at other boys and girls artwork, respond to theirs appropriately, make sure you encourage them. That really helps us when we talk about it. That's kind of hard when we're at home just with our family. So make sure you kind of look at other people's artwork, and you can see how this pops out now that it's colored instead of just pencil. So go ahead and work on that, boys and girls, and I hope you have a great time, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.